All right, today we're diving into an industry that's literally all around us, but one you probably don't think about too much: commercial laundry. Yeah, I know. But we're going to explore the surprisingly high-tech science behind it and a really cool innovation from a company called Dema Engineering that's totally changing the game.
For places like hospitals or big hotels, doing laundry isn't just about throwing some soap in a machine. It's a science. It's all about precise, repeatable, and super reliable chemistry every single time. Because think about it, one little mistake, that could have huge consequences for people's health and a company's entire reputation. So that brings us to the big question, right? What does it actually take to get a hospital's laundry perfectly, spotlessly clean, not just once, but every single time? We're not just talking about getting a coffee stain out. This is about total sanitation, where lives can literally be on the line. Any slip up in the chemical dose means bad results, wasted money, and just a whole world of problems. So how do you guarantee that perfection? Okay, to figure out the solution, we've got to start with the problem. And for decades, the absolute workhorse of laundry dispensing, this thing called the peristaltic pump, has had this tiny but really persistent hidden flaw. So at the very heart of most of these laundry dispensers is a really simple squeeze tube. The design is honestly beautiful. You've got these rollers that squeeze a flexible tube to push the liquid forward. Super effective. But like anything that's constantly being squeezed and released, that tube eventually starts to wear out. And that right there is where all the trouble begins. And this visual really just lays it all out perfectly. On day one, the system is tuned up to deliver the exact right amount of chemical. But fast forward a few months, and that worn-out tube, it's delivering less and less and less, throwing that whole delicate chemical formula completely out of whack. And look, this isn't just some small annoyance. This drop-off and flow leads directly to poor cleaning, which, of course, means unhappy customers. It means technicians have to make these expensive emergency service calls just to recalibrate everything. A ton of money gets wasted. In fact, a lot of places just change the tubes every 3 months just to be safe, which is a whole other cost in itself. But what's really fascinating is that the solution to this laundry problem comes from a totally unexpected place: the operating room. Yeah, you heard me right. To really get what Dema did, we have to look at the history of this little pump. So this is the core technology we're talking about, a peristaltic pump. It basically mimics how our own bodies move food through our digestive system. That process is called peristalsis. It's gentle, it's incredibly precise, and it keeps the fluid totally contained inside that tube. And this timeline, wow, it really shows you just how trusted this tech is. We're talking since 1953, these pumps have been used in heart-lung machines, situations where precision is literally a matter of life and death. For over 70 years, it's been the absolute gold standard in medicine. And this quote from Jeff Hammett at Dema Engineering, it really gets to the heart of their thinking. They didn't see a broken technology that needed to be replaced. No, they saw this proven, life-saving hero that just needed to be perfected for the world of laundry. And that brings us to the Aurora Plus. This isn't some brand new, out-of-the-blue invention. It's an evolution. It's the result of over 7 years of Dema listening to their customers and focusing on solving those timeless challenges of the good old peristaltic pump. Their approach was just so focused and smart. Step 1, acknowledge the challenges. Don't pretend they don't exist. Step 2, figure out how to solve the problem of squeeze tube wear and tear. And step 3, get rid of the need for all that constant manual recalibration that costs technicians so much time and headaches. So the big question is, how did they actually do it? Well, it all comes down to making the entire system smarter. Let's break down the key innovations that make the Aurora Plus work in a totally different way. It really all boils down to these 3 breakthroughs. You've got automatic squeeze tube wear compensation, a continuous measurement flow meter, and advanced event reporting and alerts. Each one of these directly attacks a core problem we've been talking about, turning a high-maintenance system into an intelligent one that pretty much manages itself. Okay, this first one is the real game changer. Instead of the flow rate just slowly dying off over time, the Aurora Plus is constantly measuring it. So as that squeeze tube starts to wear down, the system automatically adjusts itself to make sure the dose stays perfect. It's literally fixing the problem before it even becomes a problem. And here is where it gets really clever. The flow meter doesn't even try to measure those thick, gloopy, varied chemicals. Instead, it measures the water that's used to flush the chemicals into the machine. And because it's just measuring water, it's automatically calibrated right out of the box. That alone can save a technician a solid half hour or even more on every single installation. And finally, this feature just stops all the guesswork. When a customer calls with a problem, you don't have to drive for hours just to show up and find out the problem has vanished. No, the Aurora Plus logs every single thing that happens, every warning, every alarm, every time a pump runs, creating this incredibly detailed record, like a forensic investigator for your laundry system. And this example shows you exactly what that log looks like. You get hard proof. You can see right here that a machine ran out of product for 2 hours, or that a squeeze tube's flow rate is getting low and it's time to change it. The system can even text or email you an alert, turning what would have been a crisis into a simple, proactive fix. So that's all cool tech, but what does it actually mean for the businesses that rely on this stuff? Let's talk about the real-world bottom-line impact. This number right here, 12 months, really highlights the savings. Because the system is so good at compensating for wear, technicians are now getting up to a full year of life out of a single squeeze tube instead of the usual 3 months. That's a massive reduction in parts, labor, and downtime, and that goes straight to the bottom line. Ultimately, what we're seeing is a fundamental shift in philosophy. You're moving away from that reactive model, where technicians are constantly running around putting out fires and recalibrating machines. Now you have a proactive, intelligent system that maintains itself and just tells you when it needs a little bit of attention. So the bottom line is pretty simple. This isn't just about cool new tech for the sake of it. Every single one of these innovations is designed to do 3 things: save time, lower costs, and deliver what matters most to your customers: perfectly consistent, reliable results. It's such a powerful example of taking a proven, reliable workhorse of a technology and just making it intelligent. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. When even the most routine systems in our service industries can become this smart and self-sufficient, what other timeless problems are we now ready to solve next?